But this one is just like, it's hard to drive past someone and they don't notice it, you know?
What's up, everyone? I am here with Chandler from EVWorks, and he's going to take us through a Type 2 Brazilian EV converted Volkswagen bus. Now, Chandler, what makes it a Brazilian bus?
This specific one actually came from Brazil. So the Type 2 was discontinued quite a while back, but in Brazil, they kept making these up until I think 2013.
Whoa!
So a lot of times when people are looking for these older style Type 2s, or some of these, you know, the ones with the extra windows, they'll import them from Brazil because they're just a little easier to come by down there.
That's so cool.
Yep.
Oh, and I guess that explains the Brazilian license plate.
The Brazilian license plate, yeah.
This particular one, though, what year is this?
This one is a 73.
A 1973, so it's classic.
Yes.
And what sort of conversion was done to this?
So this one got a AC conversion.
Okay.
So back here we're running 6 Tesla modules. There is a Hyper 9 motor and a NetGain motor controller. Inside that aluminum box over the motor is the 6 Tesla modules. And it's a pretty sweet conversion. That motor makes about 90 kilowatts, which is just a lot more pep than this car had from stock. We spent quite a bit of time tuning it in a way where we weren't concerned that it was just going to blow up the gearbox. So it's got a little bit of a nice softer torque curve, just for the longevity of the transmission in this thing, but super fun to drive. It's got the looks that turn heads, and you know, it kind of turns heads twice. People look at it as it's coming because it's, you know, it's a cool classic Volkswagen, and then they turn their heads again because it just quietly, you know, cruises on by.
Yeah, zips on by.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And is it a 5-speed?
It's a 4-speed. It's the original 4-speed manual.
Original, wow.
Yeah.
All in all, it's in really good condition.
Yeah.
And pretty good luggage.
Yeah, it's got the luggage racks up top, which are kind of fun. We drove this in the local 4th of July parade, and it was kind of fun. We drove it with Town and Country, so we put a big strawberry up on the roof rack. It was a fun float.
Now, what is this kind of soft part of the hood there?
So this is basically a sort of sunroof convertible top. You can unlatch it in the front and pull it back, and it opens the entire top of the van.
That's super cool.
Yeah, it's super fun for cruising around town. And this one has the 3 rows of seating, so you can pack like 9 people in here, more if you were being really creative, and you've got the power to haul that all those bodies up a hill.
Wow. So how's the inside look?
It's in pretty good shape. Yeah, this was purchased from a company in Brazil that does restorations. I don't know the details of that, but the client had it shipped up here, and basically it came off the boat and came straight to our shop for conversion.
Oh, wow. How many miles on it since this was converted?
I'm not totally sure off the top of my head, but it's definitely had a couple 100 miles just getting around the island.
Just around town and stuff?
Sort of an around town island car. The battery pack gives it about 75 miles of range, so it's sort of more of an around town cruiser.
Sure. But it's amazing how much room there is in here.
Yeah.
The 3 rows of seating.
Yeah, it's been super fun.
And you even have like cup holders here.
Yeah.
Or eat lunch, something like that. And the seats look like they fold.
Yep.
Flat if you wanted. Very cool.
Yeah, it's been a great little build. Up front there is basically the 4-speed manual. You have the choice in this vehicle. You have a 4-speed manual, so you can shift and drive it like a 4-speed manual. I mean, sometimes if you're hauling a whole bunch of people, it is nice to get down into first gear to give yourself a little extra torque.
Sure.
But if you wanted to drive it more like an EV and you didn't want to have to touch the shifter, there's a drive selector knob there in the middle, which will switch between reverse, neutral, and drive. And then you can usually leave it in first or second gear and just basically using the EV controls, without shifting, drive it, which is super sweet.
Yeah, that is. Other than that, it looks almost like perfectly stock here.
Yeah, I mean, if you were just peeking in the windows of this thing trying to figure it out if it was an EV, the only sign you'd have is that throttle pedal. And the EV gauge.
Oh, because there's a wire coming out of it.
Yeah.
There's the dead giveaway. Huh. And the EV gauge. Is that a Speed Hut gauge as well?
Yep, that's another Speed Hut gauge. It's got our logo in it. They just make great little gauges. Feed it 12 volts and CAN, and send it the state of charge over the CAN bus, and it just works.
So it's you said it is using Tesla modules with the Hybrid 9 motor. That motor comes with a controller, so it's really kind of a simple system.
Yeah,
all
those two come as a package, and it was a little tricky to set up. This vehicle doesn't actually have a. It takes a little force.
Oh. See, I'm just being too gentle with it.
There isn't actually a central vehicle control unit, so this has more of a distributed approach. So there's the BMS in the battery pack, and then the NetGain controller. Those are kind of the two separate brains, and they'll talk to each other, but there's no central VCU in this vehicle. So in some ways it's easier to set up initially, but definitely getting into the fine tuning, like as we're going through and trying to implement some of the safety features, it can be a little trickier and finicky to get those to work together in a way where you know, everything is not only safely shutting off, but doing so in a predictable manner where the end user, you know, kind of drive after drive behaves in the same fashion. So it is easier to set up, but sometimes harder to fine tune, if that makes sense.
That totally makes sense.
Yeah.
How does charging work? Is the charge port here?
We have one of our, well
it's closed right now.
Well, you can open it, but it's easier with the key. So
it's got a Tesla charger.
Yeah, we have one of our Tesla charge ports in this vehicle, so that has a working latch. You plug the handle in, it'll latch. I think you're going to do a video on the charge port stuff that we're working on, but yeah, it's all those same functionalities built into this vehicle, and it's a great way to have this thing on modern charging systems, especially with the direction that charge ports are moving.
So this can do level 1 charge and level 2 charge?
Yes.
Amazing. And did you say this is the battery management, is that Orion?
It's an Orion BMS.
It's an Orion BMS.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let's check out the other side of this. But all in all, this is such a sweet build. Super stylish.
Yeah.
I can imagine people, I mean, you said it with the parades,
it's a head turner.
right?
It's got that like tuxedo pattern up front. You've got a nice spacious trunk in the back. Yeah, I've really enjoyed tuning this vehicle, driving it around town. Just for the fun factor of, like, I mean, some of our cars are head turners, but this one is just like, it's hard to drive past someone and they don't notice it, you know?
Yeah. Oh, you have some plaques in the window here. That's cool.
Yeah, this was just recently at an event, so we kind of have some of the specs there if people want to get into that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that it's always good to be able to read this stuff. And we're pretty lucky that the owner was willing to bring this down today, because they may not be the owner for too much longer. I noticed there's a for sale sign.
Yeah, they're hoping to sell it. It wasn't quite what they were hoping for. They don't really like the manual transmission with it. But yeah, it is for sale. Yeah.
So maybe they're going to be looking for a single speed, something faster maybe.
Yeah.
Or for longer range. But I think for an around town, a cruiser, a weekend get around, this is just a super cool build. I love it.
Yeah, I think one of my, hands down, my favorite part is just that black and white tuxedo trim up front. It just really has a very iconic Type 2 look.
Yeah, absolutely. Right on, Chandler. Well, thanks so much for taking us through this build.
Yeah.
It looks gorgeous. Congratulations. And we're looking forward to the next one that you guys put out.
Yeah, thank you for checking it out.
Cool.